All right, guys, it's time for us to try a little bit of Madden 94. Now, I do believe that I played a little bit of this. Let me just look here through my archive of videos. I think that I know I didn't play a lot of this here on this channel. Yeah, I played maybe like 2 or 3 minutes of this at some point in time for one of the other videos that I did. So this is going to be for me mostly a new experience. Let me turn the sound on. Good heavens, there we go. We'll see sort of how this goes. I haven't played very much of this game. I know that it's very similar to the games that came before it. I don't know which teams are good. You can do a season, you can continue a season, but this game still continues to use the password system. You can see that there are quite a few older teams to choose from if you want to choose one of them. There's also the all-time great teams, which is pretty cool. It'd be kind of nice to jump into that and see what options we have. I think though that I'm probably just going to use like a normal team. I have no idea which teams were good and which teams were not good that year, other than I know that the 49ers were good, so we're not going to play with them. We'll do a 20-minute length game. I don't really care who we play against. So there we go. And we'll just set this up like this. You notice that if you've been watching some of the other videos I've done, like with the old EA NHL games, with the NBA games and stuff, this one actually lets you choose your team after you've got your team chosen, which is really nice. Graphics are very, very much improved over in Madden 93 in a lot of these senses. The crowd and the stadium look absolutely awesome. I don't care what we defend. All right, so let's go with it. Now, it's been a little while since I've played Madden, so the controls here at the beginning for me might be a little bit questionable. That wasn't much of a kickoff. All right, so usually when I do this, I'm just sort of like trying to decide what kind of defense to do. I've learned over time playing these games that you're a lot better off doing some sort of a, like a man-to-man or zone defense instead of just blitzing all the time. Similar to NFL Blitz, actually, in that sense. NFL Blitz is kind of a funny game where they talk about it being a blitz game, but you really don't want to spend a whole lot of time blitzing in the game. You can really get yourself in trouble doing that. I tend to play on the line, but that's usually because it's the easiest thing to do, not because I'm any good at it.
Incomplete.
I would say they're probably going to pass her, but you never know what's going to happen, so we'll just see what happens. And see, I was right, they didn't, but they end up with the first down. That was a really good run, 16 yards. So, so much for that idea. Yeah, short zone, man zone, stuff like that, so that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to do one of those. My strategy on this game, on defense at least, is mostly to... Oh, geez, we have nobody there looking for that at all. And they get it.
First down.
I was about to say, my strategy on these games usually is to just sort of like, pick something, grab a guy up here, and then, depending on what happens, change players, and then get to the guy who's in position to make the play. Well, we stopped him that time, only 1 yard. Totally different feel here than you get in Tecmo Super Bowl, that's for sure. Some things may be better. The overall, personally, I find the experience to be a little bit worse. But it depends, and there are a lot of people who come here on the channel who will tell me all day long about how Madden generally is a better game than the Tecmo Super Bowl game. So you kind of have to be careful about that. What do we want to do? Let's do tight man defense, because they're going to pass her. We knocked him, by the way, out of field goal range with that sack. And we did it again. Boy, we knocked him right beyond the 50-yard line. Man, it's going to be like 4th and 40. That was an incredible play. Yeah, 4th and 33. So I have a feeling that they're not going to fake this punt.
43.
In terms of like being an accurate, an accurate simulation of football, there are things about this game that make it a little bit better. But there are also some things that make it not quite as good as the Tecmo Super Bowl games. And if you haven't played this, like, you do need to sort of realize that it's not necessarily like the perfect football game and there's nothing else to worry about, right? It's not, if you play like a one of the 3D Madden games, especially like Madden, 2005, Madden 2004, Madden 2006, something like that, and then you go back and you play this game, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? Like, this game's okay, right? But a lot of the problems with this game, like right now I can't remember what play it was I called, for example, stuff like that. A lot of that stuff was fixed in later games. And one thing is I've noticed, as I've noted in other videos, one thing that really was never fixed in any of these games is the way that blocking works. So if you look closely at the blocks and sort of, this is supposed to be off tackle, I went right up the middle and it worked. If you look closely at the blocks when they're placed in this game, you'll notice that it's not really blocking. The guys are just sort of standing in front of each other. So it's, yeah, it is kind of what it is. This is the last Madden game that has the passing window system.
Incomplete.
And see, the thing that we saw right there was the other kind of problem that I have with this game. We're gonna have to punt. So the other problem that I have with this game is that this is gonna be too hard, isn't it? Oh, almost got it. Oh well, that was close. But yeah, the major problem I have with this game is sort of the blocking issue. It's not really all that great. And then the second problem, of course, is that when you pass, you can see a guy who looks in the window like he's open, and then when the ball gets to him, he's got like 3 or 4 guys around him. All right, which is the other issue. Now, it's not like Tecmo Super Bowl does that perfectly, right? As you know, if you've been watching me play that save, like there's been a whole bunch of times where I've been passing and I can't see anything that's going on, so I'm kind of like throwing up a prayer, right? Also not exactly the best experience in the world, but what I've noticed, I didn't want to make that play call, but whatever. What I've noticed with this game is that passing seems to often, take the form of like, you just like throw up some sort of like total prayer and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, yeah, that's just sort of the way it is. It's a lot easier in this game and in these old Madden games to run than it is to pass.
31. Fumble.
Oh shoot. All right.
Amazing.
I'm not sure what was amazing about that. He dove and landed on the ground and then got up again. Oh, here we go.
Incomplete.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that a lot of you guys, though, do have advice for passing the passing game. And earlier on, when I was doing the videos like for Madden 93 and all of the games connected with that, I mean, with like the college football game and stuff like that, after you play it for a while, you do get better at it. You start to learn kind of what it is that the game does, how the logic of the game works, and stuff like that. All right. Yeah, see, there's another one. If you looked at receiver B, who's the one I chose, if you looked at him right before I made the pass, you would see that he was open. Right? How can you tell that the guy's not actually going to be open when he looks open? I don't know about that. That probably wasn't as good as just getting the touchback, huh? Anyway, it's an improvement, I think, in general over Madden 93, kind of. But in some ways, when I play this, I feel like it's, it feels like it's the same game. I'm not seeing like a whole ton of like, obvious improvements or things that are just like killer or a whole ton better or anything like that. The speed of this game has a couple of problems. It is faster though. It's definitely faster than Madden 93. That's probably the biggest improvement. It's like the same game, but they made it so that it doesn't take forever. The worst one is the original John Madden Football, which takes forever, absolutely forever to play. So if you're playing that one as like a...
First down.
He caught that? Like, if they would have called a penalty, yeah, I could understand that. But he did he really catch that pass? I could have sworn he didn't. All right, there's your little lurch. That's what you get. That's what you get for making a first down like that on me. I see, there it is again. I mean, this time we're the defensive team, but like, you know, I don't know. I wasn't looking at like what the box looks like or anything like that, but I can tell you that, you know, like it probably didn't look when he was throwing it like there was going to be 3 guys around the receiver. And here it is again. And so like completing a pass in this game, you either complete like really short passes or like you end up getting really, really lucky, basically. That's at least the way that it feels. But again, you know, I haven't played a whole ton of this game. There are people who spend a lot more time than me playing this game who will have different opinions, I'm sure. He must have the wind at his back or something. A 70-yard punt? Yeah, that sprint button doesn't really do much there. All right, let's do a little short pass. Well, that wasn't really a short pass. It was like a 30-yard pass, and it didn't work. Oh, that didn't work either. Okay. 4th and 5, and yeah, we have no choice. We need to play some Joe Montana. I want to hear that voice telling me terrible play call or whatever it is. Terrible decision. That was an impressive return, but it's because I put my own guy out of position. Anyway, I don't know. I could probably like start complaining about like, you know, the camera angle and that and stuff. I'm not going to complain too much about it. I mean, this game is really innovative in the way that it used, you know, scrolling. And you have to realize this is the Sega Genesis version. It's not like, it doesn't have mode 7, right? So the fact that you're able to do this stuff is actually pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty advanced in that sense for the Sega Genesis, but it's not really until you get Madden 95 and you get the window pass or the lack of the window passing system that things really start to get a little bit better. So, all right, I have a feeling that they're probably going to wind up being able to score. Like I said, I didn't do any research on this. I don't know which teams are good and which teams are bad. So this is just sort of like playing for fun and sort of, you know, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably used to that by now, watching me do this on these channels. I'm not like trying to, you know, be the speed runner or anything like that. They punted? So I was in the field goal block formation. You might as well go for it, right? Why punt there? I mean, geez, man, talk about like, I don't know, talk about like just being a total coward, you know? There we go. See what I tell you, it's easy to complete a pass in this game. So there is something that's nice about this game, and if you looked really close, you probably saw it right there. My A receiver, who was on the left side, ended up being jammed on the line. I was actually looking over at him while the play was called. I just wanted to sort of see what would happen. And that's one of the things that happens in this game that you don't necessarily see in a lot of other football games, right? Guys, you know, getting totally jammed, plays kind of being altered and stuff because you have good defensive plays like that. I love how you got Madden saying boom. All right, so we'll see what they do. They have 12 seconds left, and they're still too far away to do much of anything. They've had no success passing.
Incomplete.
Yeah, it's more fun with blitz where you can like totally hammer guys after the play. I should actually be playing blitz. That's what I really should be playing on here. It's all right.
20.
We always got to have something to do tomorrow, right?
Interception.
Okay, that feels like cheating.
Touchdown.
He caught that and then he's like gliding forward like 10 yards at a time. I don't know. You guys can go watch the replay and tell me what you think of that. But that felt like that was rigged.
Good.
Anyway, so we have a 7-0 lead just like that.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats.
It's interesting, by the way. Let's take a look at the halftime stats and stuff like that. That comes directly from the 3DO version of this game, right? Like, I mean, they even have, you know, the Madden's face animation and stuff. Oh, crap. That was number 1 on the list of wrong things to do with a kickoff return. I can't believe he didn't catch the ball. Alright. Let's see if we can just pound the rock, try to get up inside. Well, that definitely didn't do anything. Pass? That was a pass? Oh, we just barely missed it. Well, we better go for it, I think. What do you think? I don't know. Do we have a quarterback sneak play? There we go. Yep, I knew we'd make it. 5-yard gain. We should run that quarterback sneak a little bit more often, I think. Bag, what happens? You're gonna think I'm crazy, but what happens if we run it again here? Wow. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. Alright. Maybe we should call another pass.
Quarterback can't hold the ball that long.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the quarterback's mistake. I think that we need to have somebody at the line who can actually block the guys he's supposed to block. That's what that looked like to me. It looked like a major mistake.
Incomplete.
How many times when you're watching an NFL game do you see, like, you know, the team call a pass play and then before the ball gets there, there's like 5 defenders that are like sprawled around the guy, right? That's just such a classic Madden thing. All right, no worries. We'll get another interception here.
42. 33.
Oh, that was a pretty big hit. Flipped him over like a pancake. That wasn't, you know, your normal football pancake. That was like a, you know, flapjack.
23.
Oh, hit him. Yeah, that was a little bit frustrating. All right. I'm going to watch here for maybe a quick pass, 3rd and 2. I'm worried that they're going to run. So, yeah, move everybody in the back end. They end up running to get it.
First down.
Again, one of the little things I would criticize in this game is that it can be really, really hard to gauge, like, about how far you're traveling, you know, in terms of you know, the hash marks on the field and stuff like that. Is one of the problems with this sort of behind the quarterback perspective. And I would argue that all 3D games kind of have that problem. It's a little bit's got to do with, you know, the lack of like the issues with, you know, the graphics and stuff like that. Yeah, I cheated a little bit there, I know. Like, you know, a little bit of it has to do with that, right? But a lot of this really has to do with, you know, the fact that from this perspective, it's really, really hard to tell exactly how many yards you've gained and how many yards you haven't and all that. So, anyway. But that's like my opinion, man.
Hey, heck of a play!
All right, we're in trouble here, aren't we? Whoops.
Set! 41! Come
Well, we're hitting something hard. I don't know if we're actually hitting their players. It feels like we're running into our own men, but whatever.
Set! Woo! But
Boy, we absolutely decked their quarterback as soon as he threw, man. That was a great hit. All right, I'm going to do something that I shouldn't do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see if we can hold him to 3.
green! But
Nope. Yeah, I knew as soon as I called that safety blitz that if they ended up running and did any sort of delay for even like half a second, that we were in trouble, and that's exactly what happened to us. So, touchdown for Seattle. We haven't even been close to an offensive touchdown today.
it's good!
Oh, so I ran into the holder and it didn't do anything? Did you see that? I ran straight into the holder and I knocked myself out and it didn't do anything. He still made the field goal. Or made the extra point, I should say. Jeez, man, you can't do anything more to sacrifice your body, right? So you guys who played this game back in the day, how would you do this? Like if you were gonna, you know, sit down and play like a project with this, like. Just a second. There we go. Sorry, controller issues. Like, what would you do if you were gonna play like a Madden project with like Madden 94, right? Because, you know, you have to use like the password system. Like, would you actually use the password system to do it? Or, you know, would you just play like single game, stuff like that? See, for me, my first real Madden game was the first one that was on Game Boy. Madden, oh, that was a nice block. I was hoping for that. Madden 95, which is a game that we'll play here pretty soon. Pretty soon. Actually, the rate that we're going is going to be like half a year. Whoops. There we go. I don't know. Call a pass like that. Let's see what happens. But I say that because, oh, we actually caught that. How about that? There's a surprise. I say that because on Madden 95, what I would do is I would just use like the battery backup feature. But for these games without it, like what would you do? How would you have your project? Or would you just, you know, forget about it and, you know, play one game at a time and whatever happens, happens? Okay, that was pretty cool. Total pile up. Oh, he caught that. How did he catch that? 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 Seahawks around him and he still caught it? You can do anything in this game.
32.
I should probably be pushing B instead of C. I think if I push B, I can sort of spin through guys. Or I'll just do that and get totally hammered in the face. This is probably the wrong play call. Ha! That was awful. That's all right. We just want to get control of this game. There we go.
Good.
10-7. That's what we wanted to see. All right, so around this time, I think next time we have it on offense, we might try to do some like really silly things just to see, you know, what happens. Like I said in one of the videos, if you're playing the Joe Montana game and you're having a hard time gaining yards, you can always just call like a fake punt or a fake field goal. Like always works.
Set. Put. Put.
So one of the things I hate about that is that, you know, I run right into the quarterback, I'm pushing C, I'm trying to get him to dive over into him, and instead he's like holding his hands up. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but, you know, I don't know. This is kind of a weird thing. I need to be able to like actually dive into him.
20. 40. Put.
Yeah, that was probably the right call. That was probably the right call. I was deliberately all over him, so.
Put. Put. Incomplete.
I don't know if you guys saw SNES Drunk, is that the guy's name, who did a video on Madden 95 and the game like cheating and stuff. It's pretty cool.
42. Put.
See, I don't remember that happening though in the Game Boy version. I don't remember the game like, you know, coming up with like really crappy things and like all that stuff. I don't remember ever running into that. But I didn't have it for the Super Nintendo. I didn't have a Super Nintendo when I grew up, so I don't know what it's all about. What I remember most about playing it on the Game Boy when I was like 10 is trying to call, you know, long passes like every down and throwing incomplete passes over and over again. That's what I remember the most.
You don't want to take too many of those.
Well, I mean, this quarterback's pretty brave, right? I mean, he just sort of like lowers his shoulders, lowers his heads, and like, I mean, he just had a head-on collision with that defender.
Set. 23.
There's no concussion protocol in this game.
Put. Put.
Okay, good. No PI that time. It's kind of funny, but you know, everything I've learned about video game football, I've learned from NFL Blitz, to be honest with you, right? Reading about what to do and, you know, what to do in certain situations and stuff. Like, you know, they're going to pass, so instead of doing what I used to do when I was a kid and calling a full-out blitz, what you really want to do is something like we just did right there, which is, you know, you want to, you know, call a,
Set. Red. Put.
you want to call a, just a normal defensive play, and, you know, try your hardest, or I'm sorry, you want to call like a zone or something like that. So I called, I think it was like full zone or something like that. Then here now it's obvious what you want to do, right? You got to make them use up their timeouts and run out the clock as much as you can. Yep, there we go.
Set. Put.
Yeah, that'll probably be it.
First down.
They have, that's their last timeout, I think. Yeah, that's their last timeout. So now we're gonna know if the game cheats or not, right? If suddenly they call another team and get a timeout from them, right? See, it looked to me like he got more than just 1 yard out of that, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm. Anyway, that's the ball game. That ends it. So you don't have to do anything here. We're just gonna sort of wait this one out.
41. Put.
This is the real exciting part about Madden, when you're like, okay, it's time to go into victory formation. There is no victory formation in this game. Or maybe there is, and I just don't know. You have to push like another button or something like that. So that's basically what we've done here. And instead of like actually snapping the ball, we're just going to wait the clock out. So, right, 5-minute quarters, right? But it's not like 5 minutes of actual play. It's like, you know, 4 minutes and 30 seconds of play or something like that for the quarter.
Hey, thanks for playing. This is John Madden saying goodbye for EA Sports.
All right, let's check out the stats. So yeah, not bad. 10-7. They had more possession than we did. They had 1 more first down. We had 58 passing yards. They only had 2, which is amazing. They were 30%. We were 33%. We had 83 rushing yards. They had 69. So again, the key to this game, I really think, is rushing. 141 total yards is all. Remember, I just played a game of Tecmo Grey Cup today where I had 520 yards, right? Which game do you think I would rather play, right? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, we both punted it 5 times. We were penalized 16 yards thanks to that pass interference. We did get 1 interception, which led to our touchdown and which led to the victory. So there you have it. Definitely a defensive game. But you have to remember, this is Madden 94, right? So this is the no fun league of the era of the NFL, and that's the era of crazy defense and all that stuff. So anyway, there you have it. Hope that you guys enjoyed that. I'll have more videos like this coming up in the future, assuming that I buy myself enough time. And today was a little bit close, but you know how it is. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.